Hey, what's happening, man? Hebron Ben Bilal coming back at you, man. Another edition of these Backyard Chronicles. Uh, y'all know what to do, man. If you like this content, uh, go to the YouTube channel, man. Like and subscribe, thumbs up, bell notification, all that stuff, man. But right now, I just want to go on a rant, a tangent, real live rant, man. I'm out here, man, Columbus, Georgia. I don't know where I stay. And right now, I'm out here hustling, doing my thing. I like to hustle. I like to get out. I stay out every day. So this kind of makes me an expert in regard to what I'm getting ready to talk about. And do understand what I'm getting ready to talk about. There are exceptions to the rules. What I'm getting ready to talk about is how angry and bitter black women are, man. I don't know what happened, man, since I left the streets in 2004. And I came home, 4 years ago, 2017, 2017? Man, y'all are angry and unappreciative. And I'm going to tell you once again, what makes me an expert on the subject is because I like being outside. So what I did was, I don't have an employer, an employer. So I employ myself. So I've generated lines of revenue where I have to be out and about every day, all day. I have two businesses, a clear out service. I also have a vending service where I go buy pallets wholesale, but I also do Instacart, I do DoorDash, I do the gig economy because it's good money, you know what I'm saying? So I'm out and about all day. So I'm interacting with people all day. And man, when I say that black women are so bitter, and it just doesn't stop with the millennials. What's crazy, and I complain about this every day, but it's so horrible. Like right now, the only reason I'm doing this rant right now is because I just had this black lady almost run into me in this van. I'm at Chick-fil-A picking up an order. She almost runs into me trying to hurry up and break the line, which she wasn't supposed to do, and looks at me like I'm crazy, literally almost runs into it and just stares down at me as if, to say, and this is an everyday occurrence. Look, I come from an era, right? I'm a boomer, and this is what's funny, because my nephew talks about boomer logic. Let me give you a look into boomer logic, how boomers conduct themselves. I come from an era and a generation where chivalry was not dead. Chivalry was expected amongst men, especially black men. Whether you was a gangster in the streets, you were chivalrous. You just opened it, or whether you was a cat in college, you just conducted yourself a certain type of way. It was mandatory that you open doors, that you pull out chairs, that you say, excuse me, that you always made sure that women were in the front of the line, things of that nature. If a woman came in, she was offered a seat. Very chivalrous. And I still conduct myself in that fashion today. And why I say black women are so angry is because, like, for instance, when I hold doors for them, listen, the minority will say thank you. The others will look at you like, say, for instance, if I hold the door for 4 black women, one will say thank you. The others will look at you like, nigga, you were supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? There's no humility. The other day I was at Sam's Club and was doing an Instacart there. And it was a few different women struggling with getting water in their buggies. One in particular was struggling with her daughter. They were trying, and the daughter was going through it. So I helped them put the water in the buggy. She was very thankful. But there were 2 others that I encountered that very same day who were, just looked at me like, once I did it, like, just strolled on off. And I was like, yo, and the airs and the attitudes and how they just, like, literally when I'm in the grocery store, y'all push carts right in front of me. Literally right in front of me, and almost hit me, run over my ankle, my heels and everything. You won't even apologize. You just look like, nigga, I wish you would. There's a proverb And this is every day. This is not just in Columbus, Georgia. Like I said, I have a vending business where I go buy pallets. I got to go to Atlanta a lot. So I travel up that way. Plus my daughter stays up there. So I go up there from time to time. And that's what I encounter. And I just don't encounter it on the job. When I go to restaurants, the attitude of these black women is just so nasty, man. I mean, oh, it's so nasty. The customer service, the behavior. That's why I say, I don't know what happened between 2004 to when I got out of prison, but I started seeing this attitude and conduct and behavior slowly but surely as when I came home, and I was like, oh, the defiance and the arrogance and y'all all are just so angry you don't smile. Yesterday, when I was doing an Instacart batch, it was a young lady. When I walked past her, black girl, when I walked past her, hey, how you doing? Good morning. And this is something that I was taught by my grandfather. Matter of fact, let me back up a little bit. It was when I first got home, there was an old lady and she was putting stuff in her car. And I had already loaded my car. I can't remember, somebody was with me. And I ran over to assist the older lady and I said, excuse me, ma'am, let me get this. So I loaded her vehicle for her, made sure that she was secure in her car. And she rolled down her window. She was very thankful. She wanted to give me some money for it. And I told her no. And I explained to her that if my grandfather had seen me see that lady and walk away from her, he would have got out of the grave and knocked a hole in my head. Because this is what men are supposed to do. But you women are so nasty and just bitter. Look, what's funny is I hold the door for all women. There has been maybe one white woman who walks through the door and not thanks me. I think I've encountered that one time. But as like part of their DNA, it's just, they thank you. But man, back to the young girl I walked by yesterday, and this is constant because I was taught coming up that you spoke to people when you walk by them. Excuse me, thank you, hello, that type of stuff. If you walk too close to a person, you say, excuse me. It's just, they just look at you. And they walk past you. They'll cut you off. They'll do everything. Their vehicles, they tailgate. Oh man, they're horrible. They are horrible, man. And this is coming from a person who has spent over 20 years in prison. I have never met, in my almost 50 years on this planet, any person who is more miserable than I've seen black women today. Y'all won't even smile. I walked past a black girl the other day, and this is just on the regular. And I spoke to her. I said, hey, how you doing? Hello, good morning. Matter of fact, it was the morning. I said, good morning. Man, she looked at me as if, like, nigga, who is you talking to? I'm like, and this is constant. I've been home 4 years, but now it's hitting a point where it is just mind blowing that I cannot even understand where the joy and peace went to. And I hear it all the time. Oh, we've suffered so much trauma. Where? What? When? You're only 20, 25. What trauma have you suffered in your life in 20 years that makes you so angry that you can't even smile? What? Listen, you want to know trauma? Man, I could make a video on the stuff that I suffered in my life and you'll say, man, why he ain't hung himself yet? Why is he not gone somewhere? Because there's no amount of trauma that I could suffer as a man that could make me ball up and give up, that make me not smile in the morning, not make me raise my hand and give thanks to Yahweh and say, man, I'm just thankful for another day, another opportunity. Doesn't matter what I encounter. I'm just thankful to be here. But man, y'all walk around with so many chips on your shoulders. And what's funny is I'm in the South. This is supposed to be peaceful. Everybody's supposed to know. No. It's just the opposite. Man, these women, these black women down here are so angry. They are so angry. Well, that's my wife, man. I got to get off here and answer this call. So, hello? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. But let me get off here and answer this call. And man, I just wanted to share this moment with y'all, man, and allow y'all to understand what I encounter on a daily basis. Every day I encounter this with black women. And I've had people say, well, why don't you correct their behavior? The proverb says that never correct a fool in regard to their folly. Then it says, always correct a fool in regard to their folly. What I take from that is there are people that you can correct and they are receptive to the correction. And then there are some who have just, have just laid up and rolled up in that ball of despair and they don't want to be corrected. And I believe that majority of these black women love this freedom in this place that they could just be as miserable. And I can't understand it. This is what you've done with your freedom. You begged for this freedom. You begged from liberty for black men and you've gotten it. And all you do is just, it's deplorable, man. It's sad. It's a sad, miserable day for us as black men to have to look and see this. No smiles. When I was in my 20s, black women were, they appreciated men being men, opening doors. These young black women are angry. And it's not just them. It's the older black women now because they've embraced this millennial freedom-esque mindset. Hey, man, it's just Hebron Ben Malak. I just wanted to rant for a couple minutes. You know what it is, man. Backyard Chronicles, man. Giving wisdom to the wise. And if you don't have an opinion, I just gave you one. Well, if you don't know how to think, I just gave you an opinion. I apologize. I'm just really, really fed up with all this stuff. And I got to get back on my grind, speak to my wife. And y'all just have a good day, man.